Well, everybody, hello and welcome to another episode of our Injectables EDU Business Blueprint series. Today, our topic is Med Spa Confidential, what's working, and more importantly, what isn't for your 2026 sales. We're so happy that you are here with us today. If you have any questions, please feel free to enter them in the chat bot at any point during the presentation. We will be checking. We also saw your questions that came in when you registered, and we will be covering those near the end of the webinar. And also, as just an FYI, our webinar today is being recorded. So if you have to drop for any reason, you will receive an email with a link to review the recording after it's done. We do have a couple disclaimers to keep our lawyers happy. I am not going to read over these. Please feel free to take a screenshot right now if you need these for a refresher. But essentially, this information
Riveting.
is copyright, and please always consult your lawyer for true legal guidance. And our stars of the show, you guys meet our speakers. You know them, you love them. I'm not sure at this point we need to introduce them, but I love to do it anyway, you guys. We have Cassie and Suzanne, our co-founders of Injectables EDU and both owners of their own very successful med spas, and our lead trainers here at Injectables EDU. They are all over our private Facebook group and our free resources page and our Instagram. Everywhere that we are dropping knowledge, it is coming courtesy of these two lovely ladies. Hi, Cassie, and hi, Suze. How are you guys doing today?
Hi,
Awesome.
great. Yeah, excited to be here. I wish I could bring you around to just introduce me everywhere, like come in the
Yes.
evening. Yeah.
I am available for those services as well, so I will be happy to follow you guys around.
She
The queen
carried you
likes to
in
be
her
announced,
belly
you
for
know.
9 months. Here comes mom.
Oh, that's genius. I
Yeah.
have a new business idea. This is going to be great. And I am your host and hype girl, Chelsea Connor. Thank you guys for being here with us today. I think we are ready to get started into the good stuff, you guys. I'm so excited for today's webinar. I know that we always get so many questions on, what should people be focusing on and when, and not just suggestions, the tried and true tactics that actually work and actually get those numbers looking where you want. So let's go ahead and kick off. We are basing our webinar today off this wonderful resources that you ladies created, the Aesthetic Business Owners 2026 Marketing Calendar. Most of you have probably already downloaded this resource, but if you haven't yet, we do have a link to download it in the chat box. So if you haven't already, take a quick moment now and make sure you have that downloaded so that you can follow along with us. And we will go ahead and kick off with just some marketing basics before we dive into the year itself. Cassie, Suze, I will pass it over to you guys.
Great.
Yeah, Suze, you created this originally, so how about
Yes.
you jump into
But
it?
thanks to Megan and her team for or Chelsea, making this so much prettier than when I made it because yeah, it was real ugly when I started. This is much prettier. So one thing that we get a lot, and for some of you who've been on the other marketing calls, is uh, when people start focusing on marketing, they often go to the like middle and the top before hitting what the most important stuff is, the stuff that really moves the needle. Because 80% of your marketing is all about your website and SEO and Google My Business. All right. That's everything because Google My Business, and for those of you who don't know what Google My Business is, when you start your business, you need to register it with Google. It's actually called Google My Business. You need to register it with them, and it takes a little bit of time because they. And correct me if I'm wrong. They still send a postcard to the address to confirm it? Does anyone know? Anyway, if you want to drop it in the chat. So they
Rhonda's
used
saying
to.
no.
No, not okay. It's still a pain in the butt to get it registered. It doesn't happen immediately, but you want to claim your stake in Google Land with your business address so that you can start getting reviews and those drive to your website. Oh, nope. They do it via video. Oh, fantastic. Anyway, the other thing is building a website that actually people will find. And that doesn't mean typically you building it yourself. Unfortunately, as much as we were trying to save money, this is not the place to do it because on average, the average med spa owner changes websites 5 times before they land on a website that works. And we're all guilty. My first website I built from a call room on whatever, what was it? one of the Wix or whatever, which Wix is fine when someone knows how to use it. But guess who did not go to website school was me. So while it wasn't totally heinous looking, it didn't have all the little things underneath that you don't know about that make Google able to find you. So doing it professionally, doing it right the first time, really, really important. Then once you move beyond getting your website, you should focus 100% on getting your website and getting Google My Business. Don't worry about anything beyond that until those are rolling, because then you can start working the other parts of the pyramid, like starting email. And doing an email monthly is not, one, a huge lift, and two, is pretty cheap, if not free. So don't forget about email. Is a great marketing tool, and it's not dead. Like, even though people, you don't necessarily open it and read it, they'll scan through and see, oh, I saw something from Suzanne Aesthetics. Oh, maybe it tips them off to remember to, oh, I need to make that Botox appointment. Even if they don't remember it, they'll see your name one more time. That's great. Um, then we worry about social media, and this is where people get stuck. Is that the very first thing people get excited about is social media? I need to build out my Instagram. I need to make my posts. I need to do all that. Look, Instagram and Facebook are great tools, but they don't typically drive business. Remember, that's usually a nationwide thing, and it is a confirmation tool rather than a business driving tool. People find you from Google. They go onto Google, they're like, I need Botox near me, and then a bunch of stuff lines up, and then they'll click on you, and then they'll go and find you on social media. Okay, that's how it goes. It's a confirmation tool. They're trying to make sure that they like you, they see your pictures, they like your vibe. All that is what social media does. Now, there are a few people who are influencers, right? We know who they are. And those people actually drive business the other way. But that is the 1%, not the 99%. And sorry, friends, you're likely the 99%. So focus on the foundational stuff and don't try and become the next, Instagram sensation. We're not Botox Bunny, and that's okay. That's okay. So no more listening to those Botox Bunny webinars, guys, where she's like telling you, you can do it too. No, you can't. Not unless you dedicate your entire life to becoming Botox Bunny. And I guess what? That job's taken by her, and you need to be you. And I suspect you have better things to do than try and become Botox Bunny. Okay. No shade to her. That's her jam. Fine. Great. The next thing to do is memberships and events. Memberships and events are great. However, we need to think about that when you've been in practice for 6 months to a year, because people are not going to sign up with you and feel ready to sign up with you when you're brand new in business. You're new, you're getting started. They know it. Like, that's okay. You're asking them to trust you and sign up with you, and so you need to show some staying power first. You need to have some proof in the pudding before you dive into offering memberships. It's something to start thinking about, but don't feel about rolling it out. And that's why we're at the top of the pyramid. Same thing with events. Like, it's one thing to have your grand opening and getting your family there, get your friends excited, absolutely, but it is not the bedrock of your marketing plan. I think I talked way too long on it, but this is such an important part.
Yeah, well, actually, I wanted to add a couple things too, only
Please.
because I do think some of the meat of this presentation can really be here, because this is so foundational. Like, take a
Yeah.
screenshot of this. I know maybe it seems intuitive, maybe it seems kind of simple, but there's a lot. This is really a good place to come back to when you're like,
Yeah.
I'm open 8 hours and I have 2 patients. Well, how are we going to fill the other 7 hours? Come back to this pyramid, because you do know what to do. Sometimes we spin and like, I don't know
Yeah.
what to do, and I Google ads and whatever, but you do know what to do because it's right here in front of you. So I made a couple notes on some of the
Oh,
different
please.
levels here. So remember, with your website, you own this. Nobody can take it away from you. Versus social media, you don't own your Facebook account. You don't own your Instagram account. You can get deleted, and you will no longer. Now, it's unlikely for that to happen, right? But just there is something to that. Make sure that you have online booking on your website. People don't want to talk to you anymore. I only go to nail places. Well, when I used to get my nails done, that I can book online. Like, I don't want to call the office. I don't want to talk to anybody. I just want to book online at 2 a.m. in the morning, right? So make it easy for them. With Google My Business, I wanted to point out, if you're still a little unsure what that is, when you Google whatever, it's the one that comes up with the map at the very top. So this is a free way to get great SEO, because the Google My Business map comes up at the very top of the page, right? And that strength of that of that profile is really, really important. And the best way you can strengthen it and the best way you can get new patients in the door is to get as many reviews as humanly possible. Every single person, you're asking them for a review. Best way to get a review conversion is ask them face to face, right? Have you written a review for us? Yeah. They're happy with the result. Oh, the number one thing you could do is actually write a review for me. Email and
I'll
text.
also
Yeah.
let me throw one thing also on the review thing. Asking that, and then we follow up with a text message. We talk to them in office, and we send them a text message with the link to make it even easier after they leave. And then also, whenever you do a consult that doesn't convert to a sale, like I do a lot of consults on young girls who like, I need Botox and I can't do that, or I need lip filler. And like, you don't need it, you don't want it. And they're like, well, I'm sorry for wasting your time. We're like, how you could just like be so grateful. I would love for you to do a review. And I've gotten some really fantastic reviews from the consults that don't convert because they feel bad. They actually kind of feel bad for taking your time. And that's a great way to get another review.
Yeah, you can never have too many reviews.
Never have too many reviews.
With the email and text, this is your retention tool mostly, right? This is mostly to your current patients, and it is a lot cheaper to upsell and or keep your current patients happy than it is to acquire new patients. And then with social media, the biggest thing is just be authentic and be consistent. It doesn't have to be super polished. And if you cannot do social media, that can be a good time to outsource to, maybe you've got a kid in college or a friend with a kid in college or something on the cheap. Just authentic and consistent is the most important thing. And then as far as I wanted to point out something really big that you'll notice is not on this pyramid, and that's paid media. So this should all be done before you're running Google ads. This should all be done before you're running Facebook ads, Meta ads,
Instagram ads,
a billboard or a magazine or whatever it may be.
Any paid ads, and you're gonna get so many. We get bombarded by golf courses. I don't know if you have any of that. Golf courses wanting you to advertise on their like, no, the answer is no.
Yeah.
Or a lot of paid neighborhood circulars. Those don't do any good either. Like $1,500 to have an ad in your in the like neighborhood thing. It just doesn't generate ROI. Don't save your money. The only thing that really typically makes financial sense are Google ads once everything else is done. Potentially Meta ads, again, once Google ads are done. And then don't typically bother with Instagram ads, although we can talk, it's way down the line. Cassie's had a lot of success with her billboards. I don't see that in our area, but it depends on your region. But again, all of that is way later. In fact, we need like a little snow cone on top that says paid ads.
Yeah. And that's really optimizing. Guess what? If you do a paid ad or you do a neighborhood thing, some of these things, maybe they do end up working for you. But if I can't go to your website and it look trustworthy, I'm not going to book with you. So that's where you've got to have these things move the needle way more.
Yes.
Some of that other stuff is fine tuning, and there's no magic bullet to marketing. And that is why there are people like Megan Reed and Chelsea and whole marketing companies who have jobs, because there's no magic bullet to get patients in your seat. Patients have, any client, patient, they have to be exposed to you at, what's the saying, like 7 times, 9 times, something like that.
I think it's in the teens now.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah, we're so bombarded, right? So when I ask a patient, how did they find me? It's like, oh, maybe they write on the form Instagram, but it's like, they've maybe their friend mentioned it, and then they Googled, and then they looked at our Google reviews, and then they went to our website, and from there they went to our Instagram, and then, whatever, then they drove by our billboard. So by the time somebody comes to see you, they've likely needed to be exposed at many different touch points. And then so the question is, well, what converts people in marketing? It really is no one thing. Like that's the bummer of this webinar, is like, we don't have a magic bullet because one doesn't exist.
Yep, agreed. All right, we've killed this bird.
Yeah.
Let's go on.
All right, on to first quarter.
All
Um,
right,
yeah, you
what do you
you
want
take
to do,
it,
Cass?
Suze. Yeah.
Okay, so January, February, March. I mean, this is the whole classic New Year, New You, which is kind of, as much as we hate it, it actually is like a thing, right? And to not lean into it to some degree, I think you're missing out on some stuff. So people do feel like it's a time to do a reset. And so building treatments that are, um, in building things that you're promoting about that is really the hallmark of it. So like wellness, like most people want to feel better for the next year. So building out your be well, look well sort of marketing plan is a good thing to do. It's also the time that we go through it because January is often slower. Like after you get through the holidays, you have a little bit of time. Review your policies and procedures. Review your own goals for your marketing. Like what is it? And pick things that are simple, guys. Three things that you can trip over. One, I will send out emails every month. Okay. I will do that. I'm going to commit to that. I'm going to block the time for it. I'm going to have it ready and I'm going to schedule it. All right. I'm going to make sure that everyone does their intake paperwork and that their intake paperwork is dialed in so that I'm compliant. Set like three things that are really important to you for the year and build them out in January. Um, then we get into February, March, and things kind of loosen up again. January, the first couple weeks is usually pretty quiet. Although, Cassie, we've been unusually busy for January. Have you been?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've had a good open to the year.
Yeah.
Then it had snowpocalypse on us, and we had to
Yeah.
close for a day. But
Yeah,
so it
this
has
January's
been
been
good.
unexpected, and having this is our 10th year in operation, which is crazy. I can't believe it's been 10 years. There used to be before COVID seasonality, and you could like hang your hat that this month is up and this month is down, and every year would mirror the year before. And now that's gone. So there's no one knows what the hell is going on or why people do what they do, but here you are. When we get to February, it's, doing the Valentine stuff. This is a great time to do a lip filler promotion. It's kind of cliche. Again, there's nothing wrong with leaning into the things that are just kind of make sense. Just do it and do it well. Then we get into March and people have spring break. And so then we start thinking, and people, the weather maybe starts to turn a little better. I'm in the Pacific Northwest. It's still shit till June. So anyway, but we like the idea that maybe spring is coming. So then it's like, oh, shoot, bathing suit season. And it's going to take a little while to get there. So your weight loss programs, body contouring programs, maybe a little Kybella sort of thing, things about feeling confident in their own skin is great in March. Cassie, do you have anything you want to add?
No, that's good.
Yeah.
All right, so
And we're not discounting. I guess none of this is discounting. It's promoting the things that you do, not with discounts. Sorry, Chels, go ahead.
no, you were fine. I was just gonna say we will move on to second quarter then, but before we get into the bones of marketing for second quarter, I do need to call out that my favorite event of the year happens during second quarter this April, the Injectables EDU Summit. Do you guys want to talk about that for a second?
Yeah, I can talk about this plays very well into the next thing I was going to say, which is as you're picking discounts, you need to know discounts or value adds or what have you. You need to understand your KPIs. And that is pretty much the main focus of Summit. It's all business oriented, growth oriented, and
What's a KPI, Cassie?
what is it? What is
Key
their
performance
key
indicator.
performance indicator? You only sound cool if you say KPI.
Totally.
But this is what we really dig into, and you're going to walk away with tangible KPIs calculated for your business after the summit. But you don't, when you're coming up with these specials, you're not just doing it willy nilly or because you saw me or Suzanne did it or somebody else. It needs to be based on, well, I know my profit margin and my cost of goods for this service is XYZ. So this is area that I actually have room to if I wanted to do it, run a little discount, or if I want to do a value add, like a mix shot costs, $2 in 1 second of my time, right? You're thinking about these things strategically, and that doesn't just happen naturally or happen by magic. So that's the stuff we really like to teach too with Summit, is how to do these things from a place of strength and knowledge and proactive planning, and not just like, well, it's Valentine's Day, maybe I should do a lip filler thing, because you can make anything make sense if you
Yep.
understand your numbers.
Yes. And know your pricing. KPIs are the vital signs to your business. And you wouldn't we're from anesthesia. We wouldn't do an anesthetic without knowing someone's pulse oximeter, number and their blood pressure, right? We wouldn't. And the same thing when people are running their businesses without knowing their basic numbers, they're literally flying blind. So that's what we really want to teach you guys to do, so you're confident business owners, and then you can be amazing injectors.
Yeah. The wrap I'll put on Summit is, if you're going to do one thing this year, make it be Summit. We promise you it is worth the investment of the time, the financial investment, being away from family and your business. We've been to a lot of conferences, and we decided to do one because there is a hole of something missing, which is this high quality learning when it comes to business that's specifically geared at nurses and nurse practitioners. Okay, let's go on to the summer.
Let's keep it moving.
Yeah.
If you guys have any questions about Summit, we will send out a link with information where you can learn more. So keep an eye out for that. But now back to second quarter. I will pass it over to you ladies.
So summer is, people are traveling. You're still going to see a lot of talks in this time.
This is spring.
April, May, June. Okay, spring, you're still going to see a lot of talks in this time. People are getting ready for summer. Depending on where you live, you're getting into more sun. So some of your peels or certain things that are more sun sensitive, you kind of have to start being mindful and say, maybe in April, hey, go ahead and get this in, get skin ready for summer, that type of deal. I think that shift. So yeah, skin health is the big thing. Suze, what do you have to add for spring? There's not a lot of.
I mean, spring is just it's kind of one of those transitional quarters, and so you're kind of the in between, and you're doing the in between things. It's Mother's Day is a good one to lean into. It's a great one to get gift cards to. Sometimes you get men calling, they're like, I don't know what to do. Just make it easy for them. Give them a flat rate. Like, God forbid they buy a Botox gift certificate for their, wife or significant other. Like, that's like buying someone a vacuum. Don't do that. But you can help them out by having basic gift cards available. So that's a great time for that. And then it's just getting ready for sun in the summertime. So getting those laser treatments in, the peels in before summer.
With gift cards, and I don't know what you do, Suze, I don't like to do, buy 100, get $25, like buy a gift card for $100, get 125. I don't like that strategy, because I can't dictate, like I said, all of my discounting or upsells or, packages. They're thoughtfully put together. So if I just say, okay, you get $125 to my med spa for $100, I can't dictate where they use that, right? They could go use it on something that doesn't have very good margins. And now I've put myself in a bad deal. And oftentimes what you see is, right, people who are going to spend this money anyways, they're your most committed people. They're the ones opening your emails and engaging with you. They're just stocking up. So I personally don't love I also find gift cards are not, if you don't offer facials and stuff, I just don't see gift cards being a huge hit even around the holidays. I think if you offer more, like you said, husbands are smart enough not to get their wife a Botox gift certificate unless they've been directly told to do so. And who's not looking for a deal on a gift card? People's husbands. Like, they're not caring that you said buy $100, get 125. Like, they were going to they're going to buy it no matter what.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, on to summer.
All right. Summer is here. What are we doing?
Summer is here. Yeah, and summer used to be rough, but I don't know. July was one of our best months last year, which makes no sense because that's the month in theory people are traveling, right? But whatever, it was a great month for us. And you want to keep it light and bright and easy and breezy. People are traveling, they're out in the sun. So you get to focus. The great thing about Botox is there's no seasonality to it. People want to look great for the holidays and for big events. And there is nothing more serious than getting people ready for one, their wedding, or two, their class reunion. People lose their minds over those class reunions and they're going to see their high school boyfriend. Man, you can upsell the shit out of those people. I'm just telling you that when you hear class reunion, you just see dollar signs. Okay. You lean into that. Anyway, uh, August, September, uh, sun protection, skin protection, no major procedures, and just the normal stuff for the most part. Not super exciting.
Yeah. And I think two things that have worked really well for me is with doing, people love a discount. So I always keep in the back of my mind, you don't want to be the discount place. That is the worst place to be because it's the most difficult patients, believe it or not. But I love a deal, you know what I mean? So I think it's finding that balance. Like what we do in my practice is we do a Flash Friday, which is a 1 day sale. It's the first Friday of every month, and it's always on something very targeted, whether that's like just a straight, discount or getting like a package discount on a 2 instead of a 3, or doing some sort of buy XYZ, get some sort of cross promotional thing for free, right? Like buy 50 units of tox, get a free IPL. Something where I'm now pushing people to experience laser, which is something I really want to grow in our practice. So when I'm doing this stuff, and it's nice because you don't have to send a bunch of reminders because it's just 1 day. So you're not having to remind people, oh, don't forget, this sale is ending. The other kind of big discount thing that we do in my practice is it's pretty much all of Q4, just leading into Christmas, Thanksgiving, which historically is the most popular time for aesthetics, and you're wanting to end the year strong. So I do just a handful of packages that are discounted, and I kind of put this as to my patients as, hey, what are we going to do next year? Let's go ahead and take advantage of this special pricing now and plan out what we're going to do next year. So instead of always having something on discount or being haphazard about it, I kind of, in that January time period, I'm setting for the whole year what I want my Flash Fridays to be, and what worked well this past year for our specials, and just paring those down to what makes sense and what was well received.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of marketing is not truly like that seasonal. It's kind of like you get further by just being consistent with doing the stuff that is on that pyramid. All right.
And the more that, well, one more thing I'll just throw as an aside, more and more what we're seeing is you being the face of your brand. So Cassie made it easy for herself in that she named it after herself. So she, by default, gets to be front and center. I didn't. And yet, when I do posts about me or what I'm doing, like it gets almost 3 to 4 times the engagement, which is just terrible for this Gen X person who wants no part of this, really. But being the face of your brand, showing you like, go when you're thinking about emails or like what you're interested in during the summer, like going to the farmer's market and picking some fresh flowers. I don't know, but sprinkling in that little stuff that makes you feel real and approachable and like, oh, I like her. That's something I would do too. Is a nice way to like keep the marketing messaging going, in that you're using your name, you're using your brand, but it has actually nothing to do with what you're selling. You're selling the experience of being around you in your sphere, doing the things that you do. That's a really great opportunity when, it's aesthetic and summer's beautiful and you're enjoying a nice cocktail out like that. Those are great things to post about.
Yeah. People connect with other people at the end of the
Yeah.
day. And as the face of your business, too, just a little PSA, like if you're trying to sell that you guys provide natural results, like make sure your face reflects that, right? You are the poster child for your work. So just always being super mindful of that.
Yeah. I love it when patients look at me and they're like, well, you haven't done any of this. I'm like, right. It's all natural. It's all natural. No, this is what happens. I started Botox at 25. Like, there's no wrinkles for a reason. It's been an investment.
All right. Into our favorite time of the year, fall.
Yes, here we
Yes.
go.
We love Q4. Go ahead, Cass.
This historically is going to be your biggest quarter. So you can do a lot in the last quarter of the year because everybody is wanting to look good for Thanksgiving and Christmas. So I think it's just really leaning into like timelines of this many weeks, when you get before Halloween, it's like this many days or weeks until Halloween, this many to Thanksgiving, this many to Christmas, don't let your family see your real emotions, get Botox, things like
Smart.
that. But this is a time that people are spending, and so you want to be a part of that. I found that we have better luck. You want to get out early in Q4 to start to really hype up Thanksgiving,
Yes.
Christmas, and any promotions you're going to do, because then women start to get too busy, right? Like once mid-November hits, like they are in overwhelm, panic. So I think October is really the ideal time to start to say, hey, do something for yourself before things get insane. Or like, how are you going to make sure that you look and feel your best for Thanksgiving and Christmas? Because their heads are about to explode off their body once we get too far into November, December. And you have so much
Agree.
competition for where that money, they
Yes.
start to realize the money's going to run out. So you want them to make this investment while they still have energy and funds to do something for themselves.
Yeah. We used to do 3 events a year, and we have now brought it down to one event a year. And the biggest one is our we do it in November, and it's the holiday event kickoff. And we do it right the first week of November because people are starting to get it right after Halloween. People are actually still excited about the holidays. They're not burned out on it. And so we're typically the first holiday event of the year that they go into, and they think it's super fun because, again, they don't hate you yet. And we bring in other local vendors to set up booths, like women-owned businesses. So you get that breadth of reach. Hopefully, they're posting about it on their social. You're looking like you're part of the community. We have someone make a signature cocktail, and people just kind of hang out. For us, our events are not big sales generators. Like, that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to build community buzz and get pictures. This is the best time to pay for a photographer to go take pictures of people being super happy at your practice. Okay. Because you can use them year round. You can have those posts, posted all over the place. So you'll see if you follow us on social, like we'll use those pictures for all sorts of things. So that's where you get that social proof that you're doing things and get goodwill. It's super fun.
Awesome. All right. Well, that's our year. And, one thing I want to talk about is, this calendar is so helpful with helping people understand where to focus their energy and kind of what to start promoting when. But there's still so many other questions that come up that, a calendar asset cannot answer, which is where having a mentor or someone that you can work with side by side can make such a difference for someone. I know that our next mentorship cohort for Injectables EDU starts next week in just really a matter of days, and we only have a few spots left, but there are still a few spots left. So I was hoping you ladies could just talk a little bit more about the mentorship program and just how much someone can gain from investing in that.
Yep, well, I know I can't see everybody that's on this call, but I know that we have some mentees on this call. But this is like the number one way to grow your practice, where you get a lot of both one-on-one with myself and Suzanne, and we put you in a small cohort, which is meant to be your community and support system going beyond even just the 6 months. So the mentorship has a structured curriculum that was created by Suzanne, and Suzanne has an MBA, by the way. So this was something that was very, well researched and thought out. You get 2-hour group call every month. You get a monthly one-on-one call directly with one of us. You get put into, I think there's a lot of benefit to this. We put you in a little video chat group with your cohort, and we still have all of our cohorts chatting with each other on their video groups, because the idea is we want the baby birds to fly, not just be there for you for 6 months, but continue to be there for you after that. It also includes an in-office shadow day with myself or Suzanne, which is super valuable. So this is when you're really ready to grow and you're ready to invest in your practice. This is the thing to do that will grow you the most.
Because you have to remember, when you're doing it and figuring it out yourself, you have an N of one, right? You're figuring it out by yourself. When you've got the brain trust of not only Cassie and my experience, but then 6 to 8 other people doing the same thing that you're doing, you get to learn from their mistakes, from their wins, what works, what doesn't work. So you're not wasting time and money doing things that isn't going to generate for you. And you also get the moral support. Like, how many nights have you laid in bed going, what the heck am I doing? Or what am I going to do about this? When you have a group to go to and be like, I've got this problem. This patient did this, or I'm having this marketing problem, or how do I solve this? You have a group of people that are going to help you, and it takes the mystery out of it. Now you can sleep at night because you're like, I'm going to figure out a solution, and these people are going to help me. We love this kind of mentorship, and that's what we developed it for.
Yeah, it's a really cool program, and we do have some case studies available on the Injectables EDU blog where you can read about some of the really, really great results that some of the mentees have experienced. So, if you are interested in learning more about the mentorship program, if you would like to raise your hand in our chat, we will send you a direct link to learn more. But we will also send more details in our follow-up email. So, we will make sure that you get the information. I will give you guys a moment to raise your hand virtually before we move on to our Q&A section. Or actually, I think I have one more cool thing to say about the mentorship program.
Ooh.
Speaking of my favorite event of the year, Summit, people who are enrolled in our mentorship program do get tons of special perks, but a lot of really great perks, especially as it relates to Summit. You get a discounted rate on your tickets, which includes all the sessions, free headshots, food and drinks. They get to come to the private alumni only roundtable, and then a bunch of really cool add-ons. So not only do you get to grow your business, but then you also get some really cool stuff on the side that will help you grow your business even more. Oh, it's truly a win-win. So it's not too late to raise your hand for more information. But we will move on to the Q&A section. You guys sent in so many amazing questions. So I'll get started and we'll get through as many as we can. I got a question from Leanne, who had a question about websites. Leanne was wondering, who is the best? Do you have any recommendations for if you need a website revamp? And if so, what's kind of a general estimate of what someone should expect to pay?
You bet your booty we do. So Megan
Yes.
Reed, who's actually on this call, we've partnered with her because she has done the Injectables EDU website. She's done both my personal website for my business and Suzanne. So we've been working with her for years and years, and finally convinced her to do an Injectables EDU kind of special deal. Actually, Megan, would you take just like 1 minute to let them know whatever you want them to know about that and the best way to get in contact with you? We kind of put you on the spot. We actually didn't plan this, but
I really like to keep my camera off. I like to be behind the scenes. So that is a great question. Chelsea, the question, remind me again, the two components of that question, so I relate back to those.
Yes. Number one, who is best to go to for a website revamp, which would be you. And then number two, what should people in general, if you could give an estimate of what they would expect to pay for that website revamp?
Oh, okay. So when people come to me for consultation calls, okay, so my business is Emery Studio. Let me just get that out there in the first place. Chelsea's on my team too. So if you worked with us, Chelsea would also be on a lot of our calls. But really, budget always comes up, especially if you're just starting out. This is really tricky. You are trying to make sure that you are not going to lose it in the first couple months of owning your business. But as Suzanne and Cassie pointed out, that pyramid is hypercritical or you will not have a business. And for a lot of communities, you're already in maybe a community that already has a number of well-known injectors. And so you have to really put your best foot forward. And when you are talking about the aesthetics industry, you are touching the number one point on a woman's body. It's the face, right? It's just hypercritical. It could be no more critical to get the branding right, to get the look and feel right. And that's really what Chelsea and I specialize in. We have been really growing a lot of med spas around the nation because we understand that. We are not guys. We really understand what is at stake when it comes to marketing to women and what they are looking for. So from a budget standpoint, for a good website, a website that's got schema built in, a website that has a lot of the information, again, that, somatic triples, that, things that you're not even going to know what those things are. You're looking at least an investment, usually starting around, $5,000 just to get you something that that will grow with you. Because you have to think of this, a website is like a house, right? You're building a house. You have to have a very secure foundation because you're going to want to keep adding on layers. You're going to want to be adding on floors because theoretically your business should be growing. Now, when I say that, there's always an ROI. There's always a return on investment. It takes a couple months. It can take more than that, but it will start churning for you. You're up against other competitors that have a higher authority score. Google ranks websites, okay? Just to go into even more. So you're up against a lot. And it does absolutely take an investment, but there's a return on investment. And it's just so impactful. But price always comes down to how much authority we need to build into your website. So that's really a hard one to say. For some communities, we can go a little bit lower and we don't have to build as many pages. So that should just kind of help you start to framework that. But I'm going to put my website into the group chat. It's free consultations. It's just a chat. Then I can give you a customized quote. Injectables EDU and we've just actually started a new partnership where we are going to give discounts out to Injectables EDU members. So if that is something that you're interested in, we definitely have some packages and programs to give you a really great start. So again, your foundation is super strong and steady. And that was a lot. So now my screen's going off.
I think also too, we personally vouch for any vendor that we team up with. So, but when I'm looking at websites, just like objective things I'm looking at, look at as many websites as humanly possible that they have made, right? Talk to somebody who's made a website with them about their experience. Did they get it in on time? Because once you pay the money and once they're actively working on it, they've got you, right? So they said it was going to take 3 months, but it took 5. So maybe a question to ask is, great, for every, week that this isn't done, how much do I get off the cost of the website? They might be like nothing, but I think that it just first and foremost, really look at as many websites as you can from a developer, and then also talk to people who are references to vet them, because there are good website developers, there are bad, everything in between. So it's the same thing. If I would say Megan is a magic bullet, but just like anything, like there's tons of options. There's tons of great developers out there. You just want to make sure you're asking the right questions.
Almost never is the right developer your neighbor, the dad at the pickup line who did at school, who did my first website, and then the other dad who decided to have a competition with that other dad that he could build a better website. And guess who then got to go build another website after those two bozos? Because just because you can doesn't mean you should. All right. Just because a guy's like, I could fix it. No, like there's something to be specific in the industry. There's industry knowledge here. So I really believe that you need somebody who's familiar with the med spa industry to really understand it. And there are a lot of people who will say, just like when you're talking to a contractor, right? Has everyone dealt with a contractor at some point in their life? They're like, yeah, I can do that. I can come in under budget and on time. Can you? Can you really? Yeah.
All right, Chelsea, what other questions do we have? We had a ton of really good ones. We really did.
Yeah.
So many. I mean, we always get good questions, but this time I was like, wow. This question I thought was really interesting. Do you have any recommendations for someone who operates their medical spa in a rural location? This one came in from Nicole. So specifically for our rural folks, any different tips that you would give them?
I've got one good one. If you're in a rural area, I will say congratulations, because this is the lowest hanging fruit to get the word out about your business. And if you grew up in this rural area, double win, because guess what? All you've got to do is post it on your Facebook and it's going to spread like wildfire, right? Like, I am jealous of those of you in a rural area, because it is easy to get the word out. There's just such close community ties, and you doing something like this will be news on its own. Is kind of, so just tap into that local word of mouth if you're in a more rural area. The other thing, if you're in a rural area, I typically recommend being more jack of all trades than niching, because your pool of potential patients is smaller, right? But their need of like, they're having to drive 45 minutes to the closest, whatever, hormone, weight loss, whatever. So I think being strategic about what services you offer, oftentimes, like if you're in New York City, I would probably recommend really niching and being an injectables expert if that's where you want to. And there's going to be successful business models crossover in either, but this is just general rule of thumb. So those are my kind of rural. Now, neither Suzanne or myself are in rural areas, but I will tell you, our students that I have seen just really take off quickly are these people that, have these deep ties in smaller communities.
Yeah, the
Anything to
tertiary
add, Suze?
market.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that is absolutely. I'm jealous. One of the practices I know that it hasn't, it's a colleague of mine, is in a town of less than 50,000 people. And because they were the first ones there, they've got three other competitors in market, but they're all terrible, right? So even with the being in just a small town is great. And being in the middle of nowhere, people will drive to you. Like it's a gift to actually be rural.
And guess what? A little rural town can handle still multiple options. Okay.
Yes.
You are the unique selling proposition. This other place is not going to beat you, right? They're not going to care as much. They're not going to do the same follow up. They're not going to have the customer service, and they're not going to have the expertise that you have, right?
Yeah.
There are different even inside my own practice, there are people that are not the right fit for my style, but are the right fit for somebody else in our practice. And so your people will be drawn to you. So don't let yourself, this market is still exploding. Don't get scared off. I would say what's changed in the last 5 years is you can't just stumble into success anymore. You've got to things like Summit and Mentorship, like you have big players in the field, and med spa owners and practitioners have gotten smarter. And so you have to too. You've got to market proactively.
Yeah.
What's our next one, Chelsea?
Okay, I think we can, this is a pretty quick one. What would you guys say is the best service to offer as far as good results and good ROI, if you had to pick one service that you think is best for both of those things?
Botox.
Yeah.
All day, every day. Botox. The only thing I care about really advertising on and leaning into is Botox. It is the feeder of all things. You want people to do more laser and facials, you bring in more Botox clients and you market to them. It does not work the other way around. That's it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I see this stuff all the time where people are like, you're not going to make money on Botox and it's a loss leader and all this. I'm like, not if
you're not charging enough.
Not if you came to Summit, and not if you're like, if you are, we need to talk. If you are not making tons of money off of Botox, Suzanne and I will teach you how. That is, we just reviewed our 2024 and it was like, neurotoxin, and we're using the term Botox as neurotoxin, but even in our foundational comprehensive Botox and business class, we teach you how to make money off of neurotoxins and do it well. We won't, there's definitely not within the bandwidth of this webinar to really talk about how to do that. But like I will say, product choice, if you train with us, you can get into our Evolus purchasing group, which just unlocks top tier pricing that you can't get unless you are like Sona Med Spa or something like that, right? So we have a lot of great resources for that. So yeah, lean into the big things, right? Like it's fine to bring on other little stuff like peels and microneedling. Those make a lot of sense to add on to Tox, but they do not make a business. That's going to be neurotoxin.
And I'll throw in one of the big mistakes we see people starting out making is that they decide that they're going to be all things to all people. Cassie mentioned, like, if you're rural, to offer lots of things, but do it in sequence and one at a time. Become really awesome at one thing, try not to suck at a bunch of things at the same time, because adding in IV drips is not going to make your practice. Adding in some obscure peel isn't going to make your practice. Going and buying some laser is not going to make your practice. Being really awesome at Botox and doing it a lot is going to build you a practice, and then you can talk about adding in other things.
Yeah. I'll piggyback on, we say this whenever we can. Do not go buy an expensive laser unless you have
Do not.
750, 1,000 patients. Make a consulting call with us. We have free 20-minute calls. Like I will talk you off the ledge. Suzanne and I talk each other off the ledge. When we're like, I want to buy this fancy new XYZ. And then the one thing that will sink your practice is buying an expensive laser when you don't have the clientele. We've both bought good devices and bad
Yep.
devices. And you can't make a bad device purchase if you don't make it at all. But we at Summit, we have a whole class about like, if you are going to buy a device, what should you buy? If you're in this market, or if this, so also listen to what your patients ask you for. If nobody's asking for this weird thing that the rep brought in and you're going to be the only one in town to have it, just literally run.
Run. Well, have them buy you coffee and then run. get that latte and get with the
They're
protein
usually
cold foam.
they're very handsome too. So,
And a cake pop.
enjoy.
Get the cake pop. All
Okay,
right,
so
next question.
Answer is Botox. I think we just have time for one more.
Oh,
And this one is kind of a big question, so much that we could probably just do a whole webinar on how to do this in general. But we had a few different people asking, both Latoya and Dana, if you could talk a little bit about the most popular ways to approach membership packages. Mainly, when you're thinking about a membership program, what do you guys feel that it's important to include, and what are we looking at as a price starting point?
ooh.
I
So this is such a big question that I actually wrote a whole class about menus and memberships, because it's like a topic in and of itself. The key thing to memberships and where people get wrong are two major things. Number one, they don't know their numbers, and so they don't price it right. They don't price it right. And so they're offering too big of a discount, or they're not covering their expenses, or it's priced too high or priced too low. The pricing thing, because they don't understand all the nuance that goes into it. So that's the number one mistake. The number two mistake is making it complicated. You do not need a membership for all things. If you have 8 memberships, that's a problem. If you can't explain your membership in 1 or 2 sentences, that's a problem. If you can't explain the value proposition really fast, so it is so painfully obvious, the membership prop needs to be so obvious that they can't not take it. Like that, it was what makes a great membership. But we can, I'd love to go into that, and that should maybe be a whole webinar.
Yeah, agreed. I think keep it simple, have a single tier, either do bank and save or do like pay $100 or $200 or whatever and get a facial every month, and then that's paying for that one service. And remember, the point of, in my opinion, the point of a membership is to tie this person to your business, right?
Yeah.
We know members spend more money. We know members visit more often. And guess what? If they've banked up XYZ or they have a facial waiting, if they can't get in on this certain preferred day, like that they're going to wait a little bit to get in with you. Or if you have an injector leave, but they have $500 with you, guess what? They're coming back to give your new injector a try. So it can also be a buffer through bad times like COVID or some, where you have money still coming in from these subscriptions. But we should do like a whole membership webinar. I think that would be
Yeah, that would be great. We had a bunch of questions about mentorship and when's it start. So our next cohort starts next month, February, and then we have the next one 6 months later. So it starts in July, I believe. Is that right?
I think August.
Is it August? Yeah,
Yeah.
July, August time is our next cohort. We staggered it off the calendar year just a little bit because it made scheduling easier. So if you can't make this next one, there is one right around the corner. But for those of you that are teed up and ready to roll, and you're in your business and you're struggling just a little bit and you want community, we're here to help.
Yeah, the first mentorship meeting is February 9th. So you absolutely have to.
I do with Christina
for that one.
So there's still time.
It's close. I can wait.
If February is not the best for you, we still have other opportunities later this year. I know it's a really great program. So if it's something that you guys are thinking about, please get your application in or schedule a free 20-minute call with Cassie or Suzanne and kind of talk through any questions or concerns that you might have. Like we all said, we got so many great questions during this webinar. If we did not get to your question and you are burning for an answer, we have plenty of places for you to ask it. We have a private Facebook group. We have the 20-minute mentoring calls with Cassie and Suzanne. We are here to help you guys. So after this webinar is over, we will send you an email with a link to join the Facebook group. a link to schedule a mentoring call if you want to, and also a link to our free resources blog where you can dive into everything that our two lovely ladies have provided you. Also, you will get the recording so that you can watch it again. But this has been our webinar. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We love doing these with you, and we hope that you found this helpful. And we look forward to the next one. So, you guys, thank you for your time and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thanks, everyone. Check the chat
Thank
for
you.
for the calendar thing. So check the chat if you want some of these resources. Thank you all.
Bye.